Support for this NPR podcast and the following message comes from Yonk Daddy's Pizzeria, slinging zaws and pounding dooskies since 2008.
There's a good chance if my dad wasn't the person I was doing this with, if this was a bank or something, there's a good chance I may not have made it through that.
Welcome to How I Built This, Task Edition. This week we talked to Mike Hoffman about John Hoffman and Sons Landscape.
You know what I mean? All right, I'm Mike Hoffman, owner of John Hoffman and Sons Landscaping, and I bought the business back in 2003 from my father, and we are a third generation family business, and this is our 99th year in business. My grandpa started the business 99 years ago. My dad ran it for 42, and then I've run it for the last 15.
So what is your startup cost every spring?
Well, guys, we have a credit line with the bank for like $300,000. So usually we use all that every spring. And what we try to do is, we do a lot of landscaping and we do a lot of maintenance. So the landscaping jobs that we have in the spring, we try to go out and we try to get at least a third to half down on those jobs before we start them. So the startup cost is more. It's probably $500,000 every year, but we circumvent some of the borrowing at the bank from getting some money down from some of our landscaping jobs, which means usually we don't always get to the 300,000. So anywhere from 3 to 4 to 500,000 every spring to get going. Just depends.
Is that just like buying like the different plants and equipment and stuff?
It is.
Employees?
That's it. We spend probably $150,000 every spring on plant material. We grow a lot of our own plant material. I think you guys have seen that over in Harbor Springs. But we buy a lot in from all over the United States. And then, the thing is, like when all our people are working, like right now there's 35 of us working, we're working and then we're sending our bills out, but then the people, once they get our bills, they've got 30 days to pay us, and we still got to pay everybody every week. And like our payroll each week right now is $25,000 to $25,000 to $30,000 a week. So it takes a lot of money, but that's part of this whole thing. And usually we can't even start paying the bank back till about August or September. Takes us that long to get caught up again. So, yeah.
So, how would you say you differentiate yourself from all the different landscaping companies around this area?
I would think if you asked that question to all the landscapers, they would all have a different answer. They all have their niche, This one will specialize in this, say like Drost. They want to do big residential jobs, and they'll go anywhere to do them. They'll go anywhere in Michigan, they'll go out of Michigan. Some of the other landscapers, they want to just do commercial work. Some want to specialize in irrigation and more maintenance and a little bit of landscaping. We are all landscaping. We want to do mostly residential because we think the margins are better in residential. We do a little bit of commercial. But I think how we differentiate ourselves is that, we have these growing farms. We have 3 or 4 growing farms. And so we grow a lot of our own plant material. And so that's really helped us be very competitive. Most people have to buy plant material in, but when we can grow it and then go right to the house and sell it, we cut out the middleman. So that's one way that we differentiate ourselves a little bit, because most of the other guys don't have nurseries that they're growing plant material. Okay. The other thing is that we really try to specialize in some areas. Like we do work in Charlevoix and Harbor Springs and Mackinac Island and Petoskey and Walden Lake, but we really try to do a lot of our work on Walden Lake. That's really kind of like our bread and butter. So we'll really go after everything we can there, where we might let a job slip through in Harbor Springs or something, because it's just not as important to us. Not that we don't want to do it, but it's one way we differentiate. So we have a really good reputation down there. We get a lot of referrals. So we do more work per wall than any other landscaper.
Okay.
So, yeah.
They try to get most of their other materials from Michigan, but now it's harder because the government has implemented new trucking regulations. These regulations have caused their material costs to increase by 30 to 40%. This means that they have to start growing more plants themselves and importing less.
How do you come up with your prices?
Well, every winter I go through our price lists, okay, and I revamp them a little bit. But, over years and years of time, you kind of know what things are. You kind of know where your competition's at. I can tell you right now, if you wanted to know a stone wall price to build a stone wall, most landscapers are going to be about $30 a square foot. Because when you give a price to somebody, a lot of times the homeowner will tell you. So we kind of know a lot of it that way. Plant material, the same kind of thing. I know basically what we're paying for stuff. I know what the big wholesale companies and nurseries are selling it for. And then you try to have a certain markup. Is it 30%? Is it 40%? Is it, to get to retail? And so then, if we're growing it, you still use those parameters, kind of, I guess you would say. But a lot of it's just being in the business a long time, and kind of knowing what's going on out there. If you're somebody new coming into this, it'd be very, very difficult to do pricing. And when I price out a job, people will say to me, well, how do you know? Well, the reason I know is because I did it for 20 some years. I worked out in the field. So if we're going to this job and we have to do this area in the house, I know 5 guys, it's going to take maybe 2 days to do that. So I can kind of calculate the labor out, then I can calculate the materials out and do it that way. So.
Did you ever feel like your business would fail?
Yes, I did. When I bought the business in 2003, I guess I wasn't prepared for how much it was going to cost. And I had to pay that a big chunk every year. Well, 2003, 4, 5, everything was fine and I was able to do that. But once we started sliding into that recession, it got more difficult, and we still had a lot of maintenance, which kind of carried us through. And my dad always said, be very diversified. So if one thing kind of falls down, you've got other things you can fall back on. And the landscaping just disappeared as we got deeper and deeper into that recession. And so we had to rely a little more on maintenance. But the landscaping is where you make the most money in landscaping. That's where you make, that's what keeps you going. So it was scary. I wasn't able to, make the payments to my dad and keep everything going and try to keep things moving forward. So, there's a good chance if my dad wasn't the person I was doing this with, if this was a bank or something, there's a good chance I may not have made it through that. You know what I mean? Because of the amount of money we were talking about. So, yeah, it was scary, but thank God my father, helped me get through that time. And so that's why I'm here today. I always tell him, Dad, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be here right now. So, and he knows it. So anyways, that's, yes.
Thanks so much for listening to the show this week. If you want to listen more, I'm sorry, we are not making another one.